Okay, Fable here. Well, my job had no AC from like 11:30 till now. We will not have AC in the morning. Sometime tomorrow morning they're coming to fix it. But I survived. I'm a sweaty mess, but I survived. So one thing I want to talk about is sometimes in life we need to accept things the way they are and just move on. As difficult as that might be, to just move on, accept it is what it is, sometimes we have to. And I think over time, the hurt gets less and less. Or, like with a death, I mean, really a divorce, a breakup of a relationship, it's like a death. And you, like, when I was going to a psychologist, you know, going through the divorce process after my divorce, they said you go through the same stages of grieving that in a divorce, because you are grieving a loss. You're grieving the loss of your marriage or your relationship if it was a long-term relationship. So that, you know, but sometimes too, like, you don't get an explanation why things are over. Listen, it happened to my nephew. His girlfriend, just of 7 years, just, I mean, as far as we know, I mean, who knows if, but, and she just, like, in a FaceTime call and was like, you know what, I'm done, we're over. And blocked him on all social media, like, unfriended all of us. And it was just weird. And same thing in my marriage. Like, you can't, and in a marriage or a relationship, you can't say you wasted your time. I mean, some do, but in my case with my divorce, I wouldn't have my 2 beautiful children. I mean, some might say, oh, well, then you would have met someone else and you would have, you know, but even in a it teaches you something. And even with the loss of Frank, I learned something from that relationship. I learned how someone who truly loves you, wants to be with you, treats you. Someone truly in love, how they are. And I also learned Frank wanted to be with me 24/7. When I went out with friends, he was jealous. That part of it, I mean, other than that, you know, because I had male and female friends. And I mean, it was a group of us. It wasn't like I was going out with a male friend by myself. We were going out in a group. I would talk to my male friends, you know, texting. And he didn't like it. But, so I learned some jealousy is good, but too much is not good. It's almost possessive and controlling. And the ex would always say, where were you? Where were you? Where were you? Always wanted to know where I was. But he never explained where he was. And he was a control freak. Besides a TV addict, he was a control freak. He wanted to control me and what I did and who I was with and how I was and what I did. But he didn't want me asking any questions. And sometimes, you know, their silence speaks volumes. Your partner, whoever you're in a relationship, sometimes their silence speaks volumes. It really does, because I mean, if I'm really mad at someone, I'm like silent to them, or very like, they text me like a one-word answer, and sometimes they've called me out on it. They're like, is everything okay? Did I do something? And I'm like, yeah. Can I be honest? And I tell them, I'm not, like I said, I'm not one for confrontation. So I'm not going to turn around and say, hey, you know, but this bothered me, or that bothered me. I'm kind of just gonna be silent. And I've had people silent to me, and it is, actions speak louder than words sometimes. It is true. And this is crazy down the street. I'm doing 19, speed limit's only 25, and people are like annoyed with me. But so sometimes when someone walks away, or they're like done with you, I feel it happened for a reason. And then you meet someone else. Like my nephew met someone else. She's wonderful. She's great. And I really feel like it was meant to be. As horrible as the way things ended with his longtime girlfriend, I think this is where things were meant to be with him. And she pushed him to, now he's going back and getting his master's. So, and he's really into it. So I think that helped. Like, she was good for him in that way, and he might have just sat back, and maybe the other girlfriend did try to push him, and he just didn't. And he wanted to do it for her. And my therapist said that to me too about my ex. He goes, he's going to do something with someone else that you wanted him to do, and he wouldn't do. So just be prepared for that. And that happened. That happened. I was like, he's doing what? And like, they go on like 4 vacations a year. And I'm like, that should be me. That was supposed to be our life. We were supposed to be traveling and going places. But I also seen him go to places that he went with us as a family, me and his children. So that's a little like, you know, was it not a fun time the first time, and now this time it's a really fun time? Or did she want to go there because, you know, he has a memory with me? I really don't know. I honestly don't know. But it's just crazy. And I have some notes here because I wanted to hit some points. And when life throws you a curveball, like someone walking out of your life. I mean, I know somebody that just walked out of a marriage after like 36 years. Just one morning, packed, I said, I'm leaving. It was devastating. Devastating. And to the other person. And what you have to do is, it goes back to, again, you can't fix unhappy. So, you know, you can't. As much as it hurts and you don't want to walk away from the relationship, you need to. And I equate it to baseball. And you might, you know, call a friend. Don't just sit around and feel sorry for yourself. Get out there, join a group, take a class, like a ceramic class or a drawing class or whatever interests you, a photography class. And the important thing is that, you know, you might strike out over and over and over again. But the most important thing is to keep swinging. Keep swinging. Because you never know when the bat and the ball are going to connect and you're going to score. And you might only connect and get as far as first base. And I don't mean sexually. I mean, you might go a little, get out of your funk somewhat and meet some people. And then you might meet, like you're rounding second. You meet more people. Then you meet another one. And before you know it, you've hit a home run. And you have now surrounded yourself with positive people. So, when a baseball player hits a ball, it's a fly ball, and it goes right into the person in the outfield, or he strikes out, you know what that means? He needs to adjust his swing. So if you try something and it doesn't work out, that just means you have to adjust your plan and do something that feels good. So just take one day at a time, one step at a time, one base at a time. It really, it really, really needs to be, you can't give up. You really can't. And this is what, I'll get into this further at another time, but that's what happened to Frank. He didn't have very good upbringing, childhood, I should say. And I didn't find this out until after he passed. And Frank gave up. Frank was always thinking I was going to leave him. And he gave up. And I think y'all know what I mean by he gave up. He gave up on life. And that was hard. And it was even harder on my kids, especially my daughter, because he only had a son and he spoiled my daughter because he always wanted a girl. And he was like, my daughter said to me, sorry, not him. My daughter said, why did he do this? Didn't he know I loved him? So it was hard for her. She was young. It was hard for her to comprehend. And I had to help my kids through it. So I had to be strong for them. And I have to say, my ex was great through the whole thing. The aftermath and everything. But as soon as the dust settled, that's when, and a lot of people said, I think he was afraid of him. That's what kept him in line and doing what he's doing. I don't know. I don't know what changed. I really don't. But I'm going to end this now because my boss was just calling, so I have to call her back. And I have to go in and eat my dinner, and my granddaughter's waiting to eat with me before she goes to gymnastics tonight. So I will say bye for now, and just remember, never give up. Even life knocks you down, get back up. Keep going. Each time you'll get further and further. Just never give up. Reach out to someone. If you feel like you are giving up, call someone. Say, listen, I really need somebody. I mean, if not, you don't have a professional. Go to an ER, something. Just never, never, ever give up. And life is going to throw you curveballs. And life, you're going to, strike out. But there's times the ball and the bat are going to connect. And it's going to feel great. And then you might have, the next time at bat, you might strike out again. But just keep at it. You'll get better and better. And, you know, if you join a group, you do a class, you'll meet people. You will. And then before you know it, you'll have a team of people behind you. So I'm going to say goodbye for now, everybody, because after I eat, I'm going walking. So talk to you later.